This is Ken Pyle with VOD TV. We're at Calix with Geoff Burke. Geoff, I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, and I saw something in the news, and I didn't really get a chance to delve into it. But we're here with you, and I want to delve into it a little bit deeper today. Your rural broadband report just came out, and it had an interesting comment in there about the percentage of rural customers that still aren't even meeting a 4:1 type of number for download upstream speeds. Can you talk to that for a moment?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So basically, Ken, we issued our second Q1 2012 rural broadband report, basically building upon the first one we'd issued late last year. And what we did differently this time is we actually measured the peak upstream and downstream rates as viewed by our customers, their subscribers, over their networks over the period of the months of January through March of 2012. And basically what we found is that over 60% of the subscribers of those networks were actually getting peak rates that were less than 3 megabits per second, and 71% of them were actually getting peak rates lower than the 4:1 requirements that you were alluding to a few minutes ago.
So, now it wasn't a function probably of the last mile per se, typically, or what, was it a function of the mid-mile? What was it?
It's interesting to think about. There could be a number of things that affect this, right? One is what these subscribers are signing up to from a service perspective, right? It could very well be that they are just subscribing to a service that was less than 4 megabits per second, and that they were basically not utilizing a higher speed service, right, or utilizing service any more than that. The other is that they, in many cases, this is a rural report, right, and looking at rural subscribers, that the loop lengths could have been in a position where they actually weren't capable of delivering speeds any higher than that to those subscribers, right? So it doesn't give a clear indication as to whether it's one or the other, but that doesn't change the fact of the matter, right, was that these subscribers were not meeting the basic minimum projected service requirements that the Connect America Fund is requiring for rural America.
And so, from a policy implication, have you made any conclusions on that, or have you heard any comments, from associations or whoever, as far as what the implications of this would be?
Well, it's interesting. We've actually been contacted by a number of public utility commissions and state commissions from all across the country, looking to delve more deeply into the subject matter, right? Because of course, it's of a lot of interest to them to find out whether or not their state was where it sat in the spectrum and those sorts of things. So we've been talking to those folks independently. But I think from a policy perspective, I think it's very clear that if you were to take the same information and apply it to other reports that have focused more on urban areas, you've seen a pretty large disparity between what the utilization is in rural America versus what utilization is in, not utilization so much, but average broadband peak rate speeds are in urban versus rural environments. What the rest of our report has found is that as you start looking at other pieces of data, the utilization of over-the-top video, right, the utilization of online shopping, the utilization of other basic business services and those sorts of things, they really don't differ that much between urban and rural areas. So I think there's a pretty clear message here, right, that rural America just is not served by an infrastructure that is as rich and as pervasive as you actually see in most urban areas. Thus, getting to the point that of the fact that that the Connect America Fund, even as it's implemented today, is only starting to scratch the surface of what really needs to happen to basically not have a digital divide between rural and urban areas.
Well, and I guess going forward, one of the things that you're collecting this great data because it's real usage. It's not survey data or anything like that. It's real usage, so you can see, I suppose, long-term trend as the trending upwards and so forth. Right?
We can, yes, and as we do these reports now over the next few quarters, we'll start to track those trends very closely. This is the first quarter that we've actually measured the peak upstream and downstream rates, and so this is actually the starting base point that we'll be using for that trend analysis going forward. But you're absolutely right; it'll be very interesting to keep a close eye on this, and ultimately try and triangulate back to whether or not it benefits from the broadband stimulus exercises that we're all going through right now in the service provider space, or from the Connect America Fund on as it matures as a vehicle for pushing higher broadband speeds across the country.
And I don't want to delve into this too much, but you did just announce a product that it seems like it could help you down the road with these rural broadband reports in terms of how the bandwidth is being used.
Absolutely. So virtually simultaneous to the issuance of this report, we actually launched a new Compass product called our Consumer Connect product. And basically what this allows, it's complementary to the Flow Analyze product, which is the basis for what we've been drawing the data from for the rural broadband report. But basically what Consumer Connect allows you to do is look all the way down through the device, or through the gateway in the home to the devices themselves. And so whereas the report was really focused upon not only broadband bandwidth as well as the applications, this actually allows you to look into what the devices are, right? And so we'll really start to be able to truly triangulate broadband speeds with the applications that are going across to the devices, to the actual devices themselves. And between those three areas, you have a very, very rich picture of what is actually taking place in not only rural broadband networks, but as proliferation of these tools expands across all networks and globally.
Well, good. It looks like there'll be fodder for future interviews. So, Geoff, I appreciate your time and appreciate the support of VOD. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Talk to you soon. Bye.